Welcome to Late Boomers, our podcast for people who are embracing life after 50, where reinvention, creativity, and meaningful connection are always in style. I'm Cathy Worthington.
And I'm Mary Elkins. Each week we explore new ways to stay curious, engaged, and inspired, whether it's through the arts, relationships, or personal growth.
Today we're diving into something that's both joyful and a little mysterious: music as a social experience.
Especially Irish traditional music sessions, welcoming but sometimes a little intimidating.
It's like entering any new group. You want to belong without stepping on toes.
That's true, and something many of us experience in this stage of life.
Which brings us to today's guest.
Yes, joining us today is Tara Conahan, founder of SessionEtiquette.com.
Tara, welcome to Late Boomers.
Thank you so much. I'm delighted to be here.
Delighted to have you.
And you're coming to us from Ireland today, right?
Yeah.
I am in the very northwest of the country, a place called Donegal. So that's where I am.
Fabulous. I love when we talk to people around the world. And let's dive right into your brand name. For listeners who've never heard the term, what is session etiquette in simple terms for that?
Yeah, it's. I suppose it's been kind of around the Irish music scene for quite a while. Sessions are kind of new. They're kind of only about 60, 70 years old, since the ballad boom in the 60s. And before that, music was kind of just played in houses and maybe even outdoors if the weather, that's weather dependent. And those three words don't really go together, weather dependent in Ireland. But it was it was probably mostly in houses. And then I think it started in London, actually, that it was pubs. They kind of got together. It was kind of a get-together place for Irish people abroad, and they went into a public house and started playing some music. So that's supposedly where it came from. But so that term, session etiquette, I suppose it's etiquette in anything. It could be like road etiquette, it could be work etiquette. But a lot of people are familiar with the term session etiquette because it's about etiquette of joining Irish music sessions. But is
it only relevant to Irish traditional music, or does it exist in other settings too?
Yeah, absolutely not. It's not just coined for Irish traditional music. We're not tyrants of any sort. I think it just means when you're joining something that exists before you. So especially if you're coming to it as a newcomer, then there's just so many questions and so many things that you could get wrong, but you're more worried about the things that you might get wrong rather than the things that you probably actually get wrong, because you probably don't get that much wrong, but you're so anxious and worried about it. And then that kind of, then you might do things that are more like an anxious behavior, which you wouldn't normally do. Yeah. So I think we all do it.
Well, then tell us about how the session etiquette applies outside Ireland.
Well, I suppose, yeah, it's a little bit different then, because Irish music is normally played in Ireland. We're kind of seen as the mothership, but then the people that play it outside of Ireland, so a lot of them kind of are thinking, okay, this is how it's done in Ireland, but then maybe that's how it's done in one session in Ireland, or maybe two sessions, and maybe it's different in every locality. It's different around the world. It's different even if I went to a session in my local pub tonight and then I went to another one tomorrow night, it would be different. Or even, a few hours later, or even just, it depends on the people. And I think it's just because it exists beforehand, people then are worried that they're doing something wrong because they're joining something new. So that's kind of...
I was going to ask you why so many people feel anxious when joining an established group. I certainly do.
Yeah, it's totally like, I started learning patchwork recently. Now, I had never had a sewing machine before, because I didn't do home economics in high school, or I took woodwork instead. So give me wood and a saw or chisels any day, but a sewing machine. I actually about 3 weeks ago, and I'm a fiddle player, bear in mind, so my hands and fingers are valuable to me, and I put the needle through my finger.
Oh dear.
I know. Is that?
Oh,
I
the
didn't know that
sewing
was a thing.
machine
The
needle.
sewing machine
Oh,
needle.
I did that one time.
I
I
didn't
used
know
to
it was a
sew
thing.
when I was a kid. Very dangerous.
But
Yeah.
going to that class for the first time, I was, a little bit, I know nothing. So I arrived with my sewing machine, going, how do I switch it on? And I think I just, when you're so completely clueless, I always just put my hands up and going, I absolutely know nothing about this whatsoever. I need help. And I think if you're open to, I need help, that can be your kind of
Well,
key in.
I think that's hard to do, especially later in life when people want to start something new, creative that they haven't done.
Yeah.
They get intimidated. I would totally feel.
Well, in a
So,
way, it's like when you're young and you're in school and you don't want to raise your hand because you think you'll get the answer wrong.
yeah.
So are you both in that category? You be both in the a little bit anxious category?
I don't think for most things I'm
Okay.
anxious, but for a new situation, like for sure a music session would
Yeah.
really
Oh,
intimidate me. But I used to sing in a choir for many years, many years. And that never made me anxious. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
But what are some common social missteps that people would make? Like not from arrogance, but uncertainty.
Yeah. I think even getting in the door, a lot of people are afraid, and to get people as far as even the session, a lot of people just go, "Oh no, I'll go next week," and that they keep postponing and postponing. I'll do it next week. I'll do it. No, I'll do it next week. No, I'll definitely do it next week, and next week never comes. So
Yeah,
that's
next
true.
week never
That
comes.
is
yeah.
true.
And
I
then
know.
there's then maybe they do get in as far as the door, and then they keep their instrument in the car, so they didn't bring it with them.
Mm.
That's another one. And so, but that's not a bad thing actually. That's probably a good. I would always advise people if they're coming to a session to do that for the first 3 or 4 times, so that then it just releases the anxiety a little bit. It just lessens it, so you can sit into the session and kind of go, oh, this is quite nice. You're kind of experiencing what the session's like, who the musicians are. You're getting to hear the music,
Yeah.
and I always think it's a good idea to do a couple of recce's or reconnaissance trips. Yeah,
Well,
Good
do you
idea.
have any knowledge of what goes on in the United States? Like, are there any nests of place where people would find Irish music? Like, we're in Los Angeles. I don't hear about it. We have some Irish pubs, but I don't think they have sessions. I don't even
they
know.
do. There are lots and lots of sessions in Los Angeles. I've been talking to lots of listeners in Los Angeles, loads of them. They're
Oh, Los Feliz.
all over the
Oh,
States. Yeah.
well, if you think of any of the club names or anything, tell us.
Oh,
That would be fun.
they have told me, but do I remember them? I've been told, is there a place called the Bay Area?
Oh,
Is that
yeah.
Yes, but
Up
that's
north in Northern California.
500
okay?
miles from us. Yeah.
Okay, right. Well,
We
that's
don't,
definitely.
yeah.
I know the sessions there.
Well,
But I
our
do.
podcast are everywhere in the world, so
Oh,
I'm sure
sure.
there's.
But I'm talking about actually, Mary, you and I could go to one.
Wouldn't that be fun?
I want
And
to
be
go to one.
intimidated.
I don't play an instrument anymore, so I'm not bringing an instrument.
It's kind of
Yet,
But
like it would
yet.
be like, oh, you do bring an instrument. What do
No,
you
I'm just saying
play?
you could. She could bring an instrument. Yeah.
Or
no,
sing.
I definitely could not.
That would be like
Sing.
listening to bad karaoke for me if I sang.
Yeah.
So I
No,
have a question.
you're pretty good, Mary.
Oh, well, thank you. How can people learn to read unspoken rules without overthinking? And I would think this applies to every part of life.
Yeah. A lot of people say read the room. So I'm trying to kind of tease that out. What does read the room mean? Because it could mean lots of different things.
Yeah.
And so one person that I thought gave a lovely description of what read the room is was Michaela Malozzi. She is a TV host on PBS. There, it's Bare Feet with Michaela Malozzi. She's a dancer and she travels around the world. It's like a travel program, but dancing through dance. And she has it's
Wow.
beautiful. So
Oh,
she is a very good friend of mine. She was over here for the last couple of years. She's been over and back and over and back. So we've become very good friends. And I interviewed her recently, and she just gave a really nice account of what she says is read the room. And she said, how like this is how she does it, because she's in a lot of different environments, learning the dance of a wherever she's traveled to. And she said, when I'm there, she said, I try to figure out how my energy is going to affect everybody else in the room. I thought, wow, that's
How
so
your
simple.
energy is going to affect.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
I like
wow.
that.
Yeah, so if she comes in with a real high energy, maybe it doesn't need high energy this particular circumstance, or maybe it needs a very, very low key. And so you're kind of reading the energy, or reading the vibes, so that you can say, right, am I going to come in too heavy here? Am I going to come in too soft? Where do I find the balance for me to be to give the
That's very
best?
generous of her. Very generous.
Yeah,
Versus saying, how are they going to affect me? You say, how am I going to affect you? That's
yeah.
very
Yeah.
different.
And stepping carefully and
Mm-hmm.
yeah. Yeah. That's interesting. What does genuine belonging look like then?
Oh, well, for me, genuine belonging is that I feel like I'm part of something that's not just, it's bigger than me. So it's a bit like the session as well. So I'm part of that. It's like a teamwork, and we're all working together. And if there's somebody not working in that team, and they're working for, they're kind of, there's no I in team, but they're just doing the I bit. That to me means that I would have trouble. I feel I would have trouble kind of including that person, or making them feel like they belong, because it's like you're fighting almost the greater cause. So the greater cause, or the aim for that person, is that they're there for themselves rather than there for the teamwork. And so
Yeah, but I'm still very unclear on it, because how would you know the music? How would you know that song, or how would you know what they're going to play that night?
Well, there's a lot of common tunes. So I mean, when people are joining Irish music sessions to play, they kind of have a common repertoire. So if I'm like the leader of a session, I don't even like the term leader. Maybe a host of the session. I might be the one that's there, that I might be getting paid because I'm maybe a skilled musician. So I would try and play tunes that maybe would be common, so the newcomers might know them. And so those kind of things would help people to feel like they're valued. I think genuine belonging is that somebody's valued, and that they are heard. Their opinion is heard, that they're valuable to the session.
It sounds like to me that these rules and these ideas go beyond just music, just to apply to life.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, if I'm driving on a motorway, or if I'm driving on a side road coming onto a motorway or a highway, there's cars there that already exist. So I need to be thoughtful about those cars. And that's the same thing. Like, it's like I'm entering something that exists before I arrive to it. Even like a new job, or any, yeah.
Well, for someone who loves music but doesn't play, then how can they participate meaningfully?
They can really participate meaningfully by enjoying themselves. So if you're in
Clap along.
you could clap, so long as you're not clapping out of time. So you have to be careful. You have to think about, how is my interaction with this going to affect the other people. So I know a lot of people, Irish musicians, when they're on stage, they encourage people to clap. It can be really, really difficult then to play along, because there's it's just the physics of music. There's a time delay. So then we're trying to struggle to which is the beat. Is it so you're almost playing to two beats, and you're like, no, and it can really derail things. So I would just be saying, if go you woo,
Yeah.
that's how I do it. Yeah, you're good. We want you at the session. And just even interact with the musicians, or just if you have a smile on your face and you're enjoying yourself, that's all is needed.
So that's the role listening plays in these sessions.
Yeah, and there's some really, really good listeners, as in they come to the same session every week, and all they want to do is hear like some of the music, or or just get a chance to chat to some of the musicians at the end, or or even just buy, if they wanted to buy a musician a drink or whatever. There's just so much. It's just a fun thing to do, and interaction. It's just cool.
Sounds like it. How many people are usually in your sessions?
Now, this is part of the etiquette as well. I think it contributes to it. So for me, my favorite, and even I have a podcast and it's about the perspectives on etiquette in Irish traditional music, and all the people I have interviewed, I have not asked all of them, but asked in general, kind of, what is your favorite size of a session? So most people say, and I would say it myself, between 6 and 10. That's when you can still engage with everybody there. Once it gets a bit bigger than that, and there's like rows behind, and it's spread across the room, and it's a way out, you can't engage with everybody, and then people don't feel like they genuinely belong, because they're so far away, and nobody gets to chat to you only get to talk to the people around you, rather than talking to everybody in the session, because that, I mean, if you're all connecting in together and playing, and it's a real kind of team effort, oh my God, it can bring you to euphoria. It can bring you just to magical places. It's brilliant.
So we're always encouraging our baby boomer audience to look for their creative side, that they may have been keeping the creative down for years and years while they've been doing corporate or or anything else,
or family or whatever.
Family.
Yeah.
So that's interesting, because are you seeing that is the case, that you get maybe people that have done a whole career before but maybe didn't play music till now?
Absolutely. And I don't teach children. I only teach adults. I just connect with adults better.
On the violin?
Yes, yeah. And it's funny, the reason I started my podcast was because one of my students, adult fiddle students, is a retired doctor. And it was him that kind of persuaded me to do it. I said I was thinking about maybe writing a book on music performance anxiety. And he said, I asked him to be my medical advisor. And he said, oh yeah, absolutely, no bother. And then he said, but I think we would really benefit from a book on session etiquette much better. And I said, no, oh my God, no way would I ever touch that subject. It's a vile subject.
And now it's your website.
now it's
Go
my
figure.
Everything. He kind of convinced me that, the reason people are anxious and have performance anxiety is because they don't know the rules. If they knew the rules, they'd be much less anxious. So it was kind of his doing. Yeah.
And at a session, there's a right moment to join in. How do you recognize that?
I think, as mentioned first, I would always go maybe 3 or 4 times before I would join in, just so that...
And just don't even bring your instrument.
Yeah, you're going for a recce just to see, what kind of music do they play? What level do they play at? Because when you do want to join in, you don't want to join into something that maybe doesn't suit you, where maybe you don't know any of the tunes, or maybe the level is too high, or, some sessions maybe are more of a slightly closed environment, as in it's maybe for very skilled level musicians, and they just want to play really, quite fast, and they want to be challenged. So try and find the session that works for you if you're starting, or, and then you can grow up, once you've kind of gone to that session that that fits you. And then you can say, well, there's another session now next month that will push me a bit more. Oh, I might go to that one as well. So you go to that one, then you start, after a couple of times going to that, listening to it, then you can start to take your instrument and, just say...
There must be online meetup groups that organize these things, do you think?
There are some, yeah.
Like in the States, would you say in the United States, that's how people are finding them?
Yes, probably. There is there a list? That's a good question now. I must find out.
You'll have to get back to us.
Yeah.
I'll
have to try and find, because it would be so cool if I had a whole big list of sessions all around the world, but then they change they change so regularly. Yeah. But there are 85 countries listening to my podcast, so it's crazy.
Wow.
Really crazy.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That's impressive. So, well, for all of our listeners, what advice would you give after an awkward first experience or even second?
Oh, it's so
I'm,
horrible when that
I'm,
happens.
I'm
It's
sure you've
really,
had a few.
I have had a few, and I've been the giver of the awkward experience, and that's horrible as
Oh,
well. That's worse. That lives with
oh,
you forever. The guilt of that lives forever. And
oh,
so I'm really trying to. One of the reasons the podcast is there is for me to try and learn how to do it as constructively as possible, and as gentle as possible. So yeah, so I would advise person not to give up, but maybe to take the positive from it, to try and think about what the constructive feedback is rather than take it personally. It's not personal. None of the feedback that people give is personal or is meant as personal. Maybe people don't have the right words to convey what they're trying to say, and I think it's the communication. They just don't know what they're supposed to say because they feel so awkward. They don't want to say it, and then they're anxious, and then they have anxious behaviors then, and they say the wrong words, and it's like, oh no. So yeah, don't take it personally. But if it's happening a few times and maybe somebody said them, have a look and see what can I do better so that I could show up better the next time, or how can I bring a different energy or something the next time.
How does Irish music then? How Irish music culture? How does it connect generations?
Yeah, the sessions are great for connecting the intergenerations. As in, you could have a session there. There's maybe 5-year-olds and 85-year-olds in the same session. So that is really cool. It is a very intergenerational thing. It's lovely. Yeah.
That's
Oh,
beautiful.
Yeah.
I love
And
that.
anybody in between. Yeah. So it is kind
Yeah.
of,
that'd be interesting because I think in the States, I don't know that can happen because the clubs don't let you bring kids in
yeah,
that are under 21 years old, where there's
that's
That's
right.
because
liquor being
there's alcohol
liquor
there.
being served. They
Um,
yeah.
Here you're allowed it up till 9 o'clock in the evening or 9:30. So
Oh,
we do have kind of early sessions, and it's the thing about the elders here in the Irish music sessions. They have so much knowledge, and they've like carried this music with them for years and years. They've so much to give. So if you get to hear an elder, it's like wow. They're really revered, which is kind of cool. Like one of my
that is.
favorite guys he's 84, I think. Yeah, he must be about 84 now, and he has huge hands. Like his fingers are one finger's about the size of 3 of my fingers, but yet he
Oh,
plays like really delicate fiddle music. Really delicate fiddle music. He's amazing, and it was him that actually pushed me to, you know, when you're kind of unsure and you're not, you're waiting for approval and you're still playing, but you haven't really found you have your style, but you're not sure you should that's right. And he just after I released a CD with another musician, he put his arm around me, goes, Tara, it's time you started to enjoy your own music. And
oh,
I mean that just blew me away because I thought
yeah.
at first I was kind of like, oh, what does he mean? Does he think I'm not good enough or something? And then I had, the feedback as well, the personal feedback. I took it a little bit kind of personally for a while. And then I was like, he was actually giving me some really, really valuable advice and I need to listen. And he was telling me that he was giving me permission as an elder to just play the music that I played and not be worried about what other people thought of it.
And also, I
just,
would think he wouldn't give you that kind of advice if he didn't think you were good enough.
yeah, yeah.
So, what have you learned about belonging through your work?
Well, I think it's very hard to enjoy yourself if you don't feel like you belong. If you feel like you're sitting on the outside and you're kind of questioning whether you're wanted or you're needed, and that's a horrible place to live in. I wouldn't encourage, if somebody is in a session and that's how they feel, they need to find a new session. Absolutely. Like, so if I go into there have been lots of sessions. We all have gone through this. And it doesn't stop just because you get more skilled. It's just a personality thing. I was in a session a couple of years ago and they wanted a different person to be in the session. I had just jumped in and the other person said, no, you go in, you go in, you go in. And I thought, this is not going to be good if I'm going in instead of this person when everybody else wants that person. And so I jumped in and I was ignored for most of the session. I was like, right, I'm out of here. I stayed for an hour, and I just said, I made my excuses. I went, I have to rush away. I'll let the other person in now. But the other person didn't want to go in, and they were like, oh, no, you go in. And
Yeah.
So
like
I knew that
friends. It's like people.
Yeah.
It's cliques of friends. If you don't feel you belong with them, then find another group.
Exactly. So don't force yourself if, and they might be the best musicians and you might really want to get challenged that way, but life's too short.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. For me, it's too short.
Give us one simple step that our listeners could take this week to bring some more music into their lives.
Oh, I think I might do this for myself too. Somebody asked me to write down 10 tracks of music, or even, it can be wider than tracks. It could be albums or genres of music that pinpointed different and really important changes in my life. And it was a really interesting thing to do, because I went back through all things like, this is what, when I this is what happened, and this is the kind of soundtrack for that in my life, and that was the soundtrack when I was doing this. This was the soundtrack for something else, and you had to pick 10, and it was the most amazing thing that I've ever had to do. I loved it.
I think all our audience should be doing that.
Was that like for a class, or how did you?
It's actually for a podcast. It's for another podcast. Yeah.
That's a great question.
Isn't that great? Yeah.
Yeah. Give us one.
Yeah, I think of that a lot because I'm driving in the car and I'll put on kind of an open kind of Spotify list in my car. Yeah. And so it's kind of switching a little bit, and every single song triggers a different memory, a different place you heard it, and it takes you immediately into a different mood, a different atmosphere.
Yeah, and who you were with and what you were doing. Yeah.
I just talked to a neuroscientist earlier on, and she was a psychotherapist as well. And she said that music is one of the things that it's the only thing that activates your entire brain. Like when you're listening to music, and I'm not mentioning like playing music, but listening to it, and it activates your everything in your whole brain is activated. Whereas it's not the same if you're watching a film or reading a book or any of the other arts or dance. It's only to do with music. So it's a very, very powerful thing. It's so cool. And we all have the soundtracks for, times where things were really tough and music got us through it. Or when times where, you were celebrating, it was the best thing ever. We all have those kind of times, and you have a track or you have an album or you have some sort of genre of music that goes, that fits for that purpose. And it is so cool.
Like wedding songs or birthday songs, or when you were 16 and
exactly. Yeah. And, had a holiday romance or
just a holiday.
A holiday romance. Oh, that's good.
What was your soundtrack to that?
Yeah, that's good.
Well, Tara, this has been such an enlightening conversation. Thank you. I'm going to actually think about the different soundtracks of my life and see where they take me.
It's kind of been a roadmap for navigating connection with confidence
and belonging.
So it's beautiful. I'm definitely going. It was only in the last couple of days that I've done it, so I thought, wow, I'm gonna spread. This is like spreading the love. I have to spread the love around the world.
Oh, good.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much. Thank you. And visit sessionetiquette.com to learn more.
Yeah, and thanks for joining us today on Late Boomers. And please click subscribe on whatever platform you're listening on. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ladies.
Wonderful to have you, and see you next time for our Late Boomers audience.